So welcome everyone to our webinar today, and we'll be talking about the professional growth aspects of Somatica and everything, as well as answer questions about what is a sex coach, who comes to see a sex coach, what kind of issues sex coaches deal with, and more and more and more. And then we'll talk to you about the different sex coaching programs and would love to answer your questions. So I'm Dr. Danielle Harel. I'm one of the co-founders of the Somatica Institute.
And I'm Celeste Hirschman, and I'm the other co-founder. And Somatica is really a sex coaching method that is about working deeply in mutual vulnerability with your clients so that they can learn experientially, step by step, the tools of deeper emotional and erotic intimacy. Instead of just talking theoretically about what you would do out there in the world, we really work with the interpersonal relationship between you and the client if you're working with an individual, or practicing with your partner if you're doing some couples work. And so it is a much more interpersonal, process oriented. And I think what happens when you actually practice is that you gain confidence to go out in the world and say, okay, I did that in the office, so now I can do it out in the world. Whereas if you're just sort of talking about it theoretically, sometimes it can be hard to integrate the tools into practice in the world. So we are very focused on making sure everybody is practicing. I want to talk a little bit about, I want to tell a story actually about one of our students. She would tell you this, it's not breaking confidentiality because she wrote a blog about it. She was initially with her husband, a client of Danielle's. As she was growing in her relationship with her husband and exploring herself and exploring their connection, she thought, oh my goodness, I really want to take this training. I want to take it for personal growth and find out, I want all the tools and I want them faster and I want them now. And so she comes to the training. I think after the first module, she said, wow, this is going to be my career. And she started out working in Facebook, and she said, I'm going to have to go home and tell my husband I'm quitting this, high-powered tech career, and I'm going to be a sex and relationship coach. A lot of people do Somatica as a change of career. We have people who were interior designers, who were body workers, all sorts of different folks come as a change of career. And then many people who are already coaches or therapists come in to enhance their practice or to add sex and relationship coaching to their coaching practice.
And some people take Somatica for professional or personal growth, and then they decide to do something very different with it, not necessarily do coaching. People get very creative, and some people, we have a student that she's intimacy coordinator in Hollywood, and she uses the Somatica principles in order to work with actors. She started the organization for intimacy coordinators, which is awesome. We have a student who uses the principles in order to start his boudoir photography. So people really take it to very different places, and that's what's awesome about doing this kind of a training.
So we promised we would answer some basic questions, and I think what I want to start out with is just talking a little bit about what it looks like to have a career as a sex coach. Some people who take the training are working with individuals and couples. Other people who take the training are doing group workshops. Some people are doing both. And most people who come out of the training are going into private practice for themselves. But as Danielle said, also people go into intimacy coordination. I think she's our student who I'm the most jealous of. I want to help actors have sex with each other. The day-by-day work as a sex coach can be in person or online, really helping people to have the most fulfilling sex and relationship possible. And for me, the most amazing thing about it is just watching people grow and transform and become more true to themselves in their lives, ask for what they want in their sex lives and relationship, and lower shame, and sort of become self-accepting and even self-celebrating and learning how to thrive in their relational world, as opposed to just sort of like surviving.
Even in this time when the pandemic is here and we all sheltered in place, I still do coaching every day for a good amount of hours. I sometimes use Zoom, I sometimes use WhatsApp. I have clients all over the world that I talk with, and I think that's also really amazing about being able to be a sex coach. You don't have to see people in person. Even when you are offering experiential work, there's a lot of experiential things, which we are offering always experiential work. There's a lot of experiential things that can be done over Zoom or WhatsApp or any other format.
And it is a great time to change a career right now. It's one of the reasons that we are offering the training online at this point. and we'll talk a lot about what that means, because it's not just this passive watching of videos. It's very much an interactive process that has an in-person component to it. But we're offering the beginning of it as an online Zoom, interactive Zoom class, in order to help people in this time when they're mostly at home, to help people to change their career. Because part of thriving in people's lives is not just having the amazing relationship that they want, it's also having the amazing career that they want. Like Danielle said, I'm working probably as much now, if not more, as I was before the pandemic happened. So, a set of tools that can work really well online as well as in person.
What kind of issues do sex coaches work with? People come to see us with low desire. People come to see us with erectile dysfunction. People come to see us with challenges in negotiating desires. People come to see us because they're ashamed of their desires and they don't know how they're going to how they're going to find partners who will be able to celebrate them. People come see us for dating. They need help around dating or anything that you can imagine that can be related to sexuality and intimacy. And many times people come to see us for one specific issue, but we always try to help them get a whole set of skills around being able to communicate more vulnerably, be more emotionally available and connected to themselves and to their partners, and as well as erotically connected.
So some people are deciding whether or not they want to be a sex coach or a sex and relationship coach. And when Danielle and I started this work, we were just working with people mostly in the realm of sexual issues, and we put ourselves out there as sex coaches and sexological body workers. And what we found coming through our door was a lot of people who had sexual issues that were also their sexual lives were also being disrupted because of challenges in their relationship or in their intimate connection. And so we really shifted our work and eventually created a training that helps people both with their sexual issues and with their relationship issues. Because people, to have a thriving sex life, often need to have good tools for having vulnerable communication, for dealing with triggers in their relationship, and for deepening attachment and safety in the relationship as well, sort of mutual celebration of one another. So we really we've created a training that is for people who want to do both sex and relationship coaching, and we see them as sort of inseparable, very much intertwined. Certainly there are different dynamics that people need to learn about in order to help people around sex, and that's something that I think we really specialize in Somatica, because a lot of people don't understand what turns people on and why, or how to help people achieve that. But we also really help people understand what true intimacy is. And I think there's a really big misconceptions about that as well.
You will find different kinds of trainings out there, and some of them are focused very much on sexuality and sexual skills and sexual challenges and sexual dysfunctions, and you're going to hear different kinds of names to that, or you're going to see the people that are working with more like marriage and family therapists or other therapists that are working more with the relational pieces. But I really do when we created Somatica, it was really important for us to put it all together, because we saw how important it is to have those things together, because people don't come and say oh, I just want to talk. They might come with one issue, but then a whole array of other things will show up that require those other skills as well.
Some people prefer to practice experiential coaching, and other people want to do just talk coaching. And I think that's really a comfort level thing to some degree. In Somatica, we do work with our clients really in a mutually vulnerable way, which is quite experiential, even if we're just talking with our clients. And there is physical touch in our practice as well. And some people want to be able to teach people in a more experiential way, and other people want to do just sort of more instructional talk coaching. So that's a personal decision. I want to talk a little bit about what experiential coaching is, not just in terms of touch, because I think that's part of it, but it's hard to picture what we mean about a mutually vulnerable relationship. And I want to talk about this one particular couple that I'm working with, because it was quite profound. As I'm watching the dynamics between her and her partner, she and I also had a moment where I felt that she got kind of frustrated with me in the way that I was trying to help her. And at that moment, I felt her disconnect from me very strongly. And I got nervous that she was like cutting me off. And that's a relationship that she and I have. And I don't think most therapists or coaches would necessarily go directly to her, which is what I ended up doing. And I said, hey, I just want you to understand what happens to a partner of yours when you get upset. And I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just what you do to protect yourself. But this is how it might impact your partner, because this is how it impacted me. So I said, you and I are now in a relationship with each other because we've been working together for a while. At first, she felt a little bit ashamed. But then when I was just like, that's totally normal. Everybody has their stuff. It's okay. Your partner has it. I have it. She was able to say, thank you so much for giving me that very personal feedback, because it helps me to understand how I come across, and then I can maybe take care of my partner better in those moments. And so that was experiential coaching. That was just the two of us talking. So we, in Somatica, it's a very experiential method, and to help with everything, including, understanding what turns somebody on, how to ask for it, how to share feelings vulnerably or listen empathetically. And we find practicing those skills so helpful, especially in terms of eroticism, to help people be more erotically present and skillful, to help them learn what kind of touch is sensual versus irritating to the body, how to talk in sexy ways, and how to create erotic, energetic exchanges that are arousing for you and your partner. All of those things can be practiced experientially. So a lot of people ask us, how much money can you make as a sex and relationship coach? And I think the wonderful thing about having this very specialized set of skills around sexuality is that not a lot of people are good at helping people have better sex. And so that often means that that sex and relationship coaches are able to charge more than other coaches and more than local therapists in your area. We see most people, you just need to start out a little bit lower when you first graduate from the program and you're just getting clients. But we see most people eventually, once their practice gets filled up and they start raising their prices, they get to a rate that's about 15 to 25% more than other therapists in their area or coaches in their area. In the Bay Area, that's very, very high, but it's different everywhere. So for you to have a good idea of what the amounts are, you would just need to check on coaches and therapists in your area.